I deployed to Afghanistan in 2011 when on August the 19th I stepped on a pressure plate IED which inevitably caused me to lose both of my legs.
I was injured July 30th, 2009, in my third month of a 6-month tour in Afghanistan. Double amputee from the initial blast, transradial, both my lungs collapsed, facial lacerations, just a mess.
When I came home from Afghanistan, I thought my war was over. I came home and 2 days later I found out I had testicular cancer that had spread to my lymph nodes. And then a few months after that I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
My accident was in 2011. It was an ID clearance patrol out of the engineers, kneeling down on the ID, got blown up. So as you can see, left below the knee, had quite a lot of damage to my right leg as well.
I was still on the IED in 2011 in Afghanistan, resulting in losing both my legs, my left leg above the knee and my right leg all the way through my hip, and I'm missing a few fingers as well.
During a patrol in southern Helmand province, we went firm to confirm an IED that was on our pathway of our patrol. 2 IEDs were initiated by a command wire IED. There was a dicker about 200 metres up the alleyway who was watching me. He initiated the IED. They both went off to my left-hand side. The injuries left me blind in my right eye, my body covered in shrapnel, and in 2011 I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
I met someone called Richard Cullen through a mutual friend of Sarah Nuttall. She realised I was in a dark place. She put me forward and in contact with Richard Cullen. He came to see me in the rehab centre called Headley Court. Ever since that day, he explained to me what depth therapy was, explained the benefits, and explained how it was going to change me. And here I am now in Roots doing my trainee dive master.
I found depth therapy for a friend who does diving in Weymouth. And she told me that there's a charity that takes wounded, injured, sick servicemen out and teaches them diving and gets them PADI qualified and further.
I got in contact with depth therapy because I served with Chris Middleton. I told him my whole story, and he's when I was in a dark place, 'cause I was ready to just leave this world, really, leave everything behind, and he put me in touch to Richard Cullen, and they basically took me on board and not only changed my life, saved my life.
Richard's been trying to get me on this course for about 4 years now. I've got a lot of setbacks with medication and surgery, but finally been able to start my open water.
The depth therapy charity to me is life-changing. It's changed me. I've been in deep, dark places. I resorted to alcohol for the majority of my recovery. I knew there was only one person to turn to, and that was Richard Cullen. And as soon as I spoke to him, he made me feel better. But the whole depth therapy guys and all the family, all the guys involved in it, we're just one massive family, and we're all here to dive. We're all here to change lives, and that's what depth therapy does. It changes lives.
It's a unique charity, but it's a family. So it's like when I grew up, I didn't really have a family, and then all of a sudden depth therapies came along and had been there for me and basically saved my life from when I needed saving.
During a trip with a good friend of mine called Chris Middleton, we had lots of talks about how we had suffered since leaving the army. We found we both had a lot of emotions and issues that were quite similar from that detachment of both having to leave the armed forces. He was already a member of the charity Depth Therapy. He put me in touch with Richard Cullen, and that was sort of my introduction into the charity, and then I've just gone from strength to strength and doing more and more with the charity.
I first went diving with depth therapy in March 2012 in Key Largo, Florida, and that trip was basically just an introduction to scuba diving. So we'd done some fun dives, we'd done it like basically discover scuba diving, and then I asked Richard if I could crack on and do my open water. So obviously that in itself is a challenge because I have to meet the correct standards for PADI. I have to do everything by the book on there, but we just adapted the skills, which is quite important to other guys who don't think they can be able to scuba dive because of certain injuries, but we still meet the requirements. So I furthered on, I went on to my advanced open water course and then went on to my rescue course in Thailand, which was probably the toughest challenge in diving that I've faced up to now. So I had to do everything by myself. All skills were met to PADI standards, and here I am now in Roots in 2016. A 4-year journey, and I'm here on my trainee dive master, which is quite a big step, and I will become a dive master, and then I'll progress into an instructor and then take over Richard running depth therapy.
The course is quite hard because having one hand, it's much different. Like when you have to remove the mask, it's not as simple as just grab, take off and put back on. It is, you've got to grab it, feel around for where the front is again, put it on your face, place a stump on and pull it back. And just little things really, you know, not things that you would expect, it's the ones that you wouldn't really expect that are the hardest things, like taking off the inflator hose for the BCD. I figured I can't do it on my right side because it's just too much of a screwed angle, but on the left it's fine.
I came out in December doing my open water. I came out and I was very anxious because I hadn't done diving before. They just took us step by step, very slowly, and then we finally went in the sea, and it was a completely different world underneath there. Demons and everything gone from your head, you're like a new person underwater. And then I've came here 6 months later to do my advanced and my deep, and it's the exact same, baby steps, slow pace, just easy going and getting us to where we need to be. It's amazing.
Depth therapy has changed my life. Going under the water for me made me realise there was a life without PTSD, and I've now been able to use that in my personal life and for the rest of my life.
It's really good being back with lads who've been injured. There's always a nice bit of banter between the injured lads, and good to be back with squaddies again.
Depth therapy means quite a lot to me because it showed me a new skill, showed me I'm not limited because of my disability. Now I've done a few courses as well and further my diving and help depth therapy out as much as I can.
Depth therapy is going to change quite a lot for me. I'm wanting to sail around the world, so I mean I'll be able to check on my boat if I ever damage it in any way. I'll fix it, check on the damage, see what needs to happen. So for that it's quite a big skill, and the community from it is really big as well. I'll be able to take people from this or a future depth therapy like extraction sort of thing, and I'll be going to truck in 2018 I think it is. So yeah, it's a really good community.
I've only just started with depth therapy, but I see a big future ahead of me with scuba diving. I've really enjoyed it so far, and I'm really happy where it can take me.
They will have a positive input to your life, regardless on where you are now. They will change you psychologically for the better. Everybody's like super happy, and it's a proper community. It really is. Yeah.